Exactly. So like another classic one is blues. So like blues is a whole world of genres in itself. There's no such thing as play the blues. But we need to know the sort of language of the blues so that we can get into it. So, I mean, is everything based on a fifth? It must be.
Sure, it's going to be a short video.
Blues certainly is. Like, if you just go with a sort of boogie-woogie, like that is, for me, the simplest sort of blues. Go. That's what I'll do. That's what my hands will do. And again, you can play it faster or slower, higher and lower, and it will give you different things on the blues. Or you can a slightly more jazzy blues. That was all talking bass. And then we have the chord progression, which in blues is laid out throughout history very clearly for us. We have a 12-bar blues chord progression, and that has got a million variations, but it comes back to the same thing every time. So we can use that, and there's an 8-bar blues progression and a 16 bars progression, and they're all based on 1s and 4s and 5s. And so there's no magic in that chord progression, but it's just, here's the tradition, here's the kind of cheat sheet so that different musicians can come together and say 12-bar blues in E, and off you go, and everyone knows what they're doing. Again, they don't own those chord progressions, and they don't own the interval of a fifth, and they don't own a walking bass line, but they sort of go together to make you sound like it's blues. And my other kind of favourite blues is the really kind of delta blues. I always think of like a guy sitting by the railroad, and this is hideously culturally inappropriate, but like with a beaten up guitar and something like a knife or something, just like just beat that guitar. I'm like, but it's the same thing. It's a fifth, and it's the blues scale. And once you've done that 4 times, what else can you do but go to C? And then you've got to go back to G. It's like, there is no choice once you're in there. You follow the 12-bar blues, and then you play the blues. But then, the blues takes us straight into like happy kind of, I can't remember what they call that progression, but it's the same thing. That's the blues, and that goes into rock, and that goes into pop, and that goes into every contemporary form of music we have now. So like an understanding of the blues and what makes the blues, and it unlocks like rock and roll. And it's just the blues. So my fingers aren't having to do anything else. I'm just speeding it up and using a bit of range and a bit of like, oh, I'm into that, I'm into that.
So if we want to play blues together now, we might stop sometimes, mightn't we, during the blues? Are they like preset stops, or do we just know?
I mean, there are some preset stops, at the end of every, the end of the 12 bars, or just before the end. Oh, I don't know. Are there? Did you learn any preset stops?
No, not necessarily, but you just sort of know. I think similarly to how with certain dance musics we are going to be playing right through, really. Drum and bass is not really. Yeah. Okay. But here we're going to have stabs, a lot more stabs, which obviously when we're improvising is an additional challenge because we haven't decided.
No, that's true.
But I am much more aware in this style that I need to be watching, or we need to be communicating when to stop and when to go, because there's not that given thing that, right, we're just going to go through until this song ends.
That's true. Yeah, there's more subtlety. And I guess that's another thing that opens up, isn't it? Is like, where are you playing in the 4 beats if you're playing in a 4 structure or whatever? Like, where are you playing, where are you accenting? So you said with like Latin American rhythms, like very strong emphasis on the one, but if you're playing a reggae like pattern, then you're going to be off beat much more, or a ska, so it's like that's another huge thing. It's like, where are you accenting, where are you stopping, where are you playing? I don't know what the answers are, but I think we should play a
I think we
blues.
should play a blues.
But then, what? Well, let's find out. Alright, that was like, I don't even know what that was. A mishmash of lots of sort of blues.
Blues is